Hey, what's up everyone? Today I have with me the ATEM Micro Panel. Thanks to the guys over at Blackmagic Design Singapore, Russell and Timothy, who kindly sent this over to me the moment it was available in Singapore to test, review and make a video about it. Well, since it's just a loan, I can say whatever I want. Just kidding. Even though it's just a loan, they told me to feel free to say whatever I want, so I have the complete freedom to talk about the ATEM Micro Panel. But of course, there are pros and cons of every product, and in my channel, I usually give very honest opinions about the equipments or programs that I use or review. If they are good, they are good. If they are no good, I tell them as it is. So 5 months ago, this product was announced during NAB 2024 in Las Vegas, and was one of my most anticipated products of 2024 from Blackmagic Design, as I reviewed in one of my previous videos. Next, I want to talk about the ATEM Micro Panel. Wow, so what is this? This product actually makes me pretty excited. So, did the ATEM Micro Panel live up to my expectations? In today's video, I will do an unboxing, explanation, as well as bring it on site to one of my live stream jobs to see how useful it is in real life and if it's worth getting it. So without further ado, let's go! The ATEM Micro Panel is a fantastic hardware panel for physical switching while using the ATEM software control. It features the same professional panel design as ATEM Advanced panels, with high-end backlit buttons and a low-profile manual transition fader that keeps the ATEM Micro Panel incredibly portable. Buttons are made of exactly the same material as the ME switches, very nice to press and very responsive. It's very nicely well built and the size is just nice for our operation during live streams. There are also not too many buttons on the Micro Panel, just the essential ones that we use a lot during our live streams. So in fact, Blackmagic Design has carefully curated which buttons are the most frequently used during live streams and placed them on the Micro Panel. The length is about 41 centimeters or 16 inches long. The depth is about 13.5 cm or 5.5 inches, and the height is about 4 cm at the tallest and 2 cm at the shortest. In comparison, it weighs about 1 kilogram in comparison with the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, which weighs about 2 kilograms. Charging is via USB-C connection at the back of the Micro Panel, and there are just 3 options or 3 ports here. So an on-off switch, a USB port, a USB-C port, and a Bluetooth button for you to pair with your computer. So switching on the Micro Panel is pretty easy. Just flip the switch here from off to on. However, there seems to be no indication of the battery capacity. Either I've not figured it out or it's not showing anywhere. I've already on it. Anyway, the official documentation says that it can last for hours, so I guess a full charge is enough for a typical live stream. And also, even though I was charging it, there seems to be no indication of charging. When I power on like this right now, it doesn't seem to be happening. Nothing seems to be happening. So a pretty stealth feature that Blackmagic Design has put into this device. Too stealth for me though. So the ATEM Micro Panel connects to your computer via Bluetooth. So open up your Bluetooth settings on your computer to get ready to pair with the Micro Panel. Once it's ready to pair, press the Bluetooth button on the Micro Panel. You can see that the Bluetooth light, blue light is flashing, and on your computer, the computer is able to detect the Micro Panel. Pairing is pretty fast, so I'll click on connect, and it's connected. In this section, I will go through and explain the buttons on the Micro Panel and give a personal rating whether I prefer the older method, which is using the ATEM Mini and the software control operation, or the new micro panel operation method. Well, now that the ATEM micro panel is connected to my computer, this means that any buttons I press on the micro panel will be reflected on the software control panel. So let's go through the buttons on the micro panel. So first we have the 10 rows of program buttons here and the 10 rows of preview buttons on the bottom. So usually on our ATEM Mini, we press one button for program, another button for preview, and then we swap views by pressing the auto or cut button. Now on the micro panel, pressing these buttons directly affects the program or preview operations. Of course, you also can have the cut here and the auto buttons like how you would do on the ATEM Mini. For me, these are too many buttons on the micro panel and I still prefer the older method. During COVID, green screen productions were so popular, but nowadays I don't really use the chroma keys that much for my live streams because the number of green screen productions have decreased. However, that said, I feel it's always better to press physical buttons on the ATEM micro panel than to touch the screen on my computer on the software control. These are two of the buttons that I use quite often for my live streams for displaying the logo as well as lower thirds. So very often I have to press them on the software control panel, and I do admit that I have missed it a couple of times on my trackpad when I do. Now having a physical button on the micro panel makes my job so much easier. I use a lot of macro functions for my live streams because it helps me to operate many functions with just the touch of one button. For example, if I need to switch to a super source and then put on an overlay, operating this will need me to press a few buttons on the ATEM Mini. But if I program them to memory on my macro buttons, I can easily operate them just by pressing one button, which is the macro key on the ATEM Mini Extreme. So using the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, I have 6 buttons, but on the micro panel, I have 20. So there are actually 10 buttons here, and when you press the shift, it shows another 10 buttons. Both the ATEM Mini and micro panel have pretty similar buttons on the console, and honestly, I don't fancy using DV wipes or transitions a lot during my live streams. So for me, this is a tie. Now this is purely a personal reason. I've always fancied the bigger ME Constellation switches with the faders. They look so cool, like a fighter jet where you can push the throttle or something to switch between the program and preview. And your clients will be impressed by your DJ-like movements during live streams. But again, I repeat, for me, this is purely for aesthetic purposes because you can actually just do a cut or auto fade and they will do the same thing. So for this, I think the ATEM micro panel ages the older operation. Do you also know that you can customize the buttons on your ATEM micro panel? So what you can do is connect your USB-C cable to the back of your micro panel to your laptop, and once it's connected, you can see that the micro panel is detected on the ATEM setup. So here we can also see that it's being charged right now to 79%. Oh, finally we can see that the percentage, the battery capacity on the micro panel. So click on this little icon here and then it brings you to settings where you can map the buttons on your ATEM micro panel. So right now the default for button 1 is to camera 1, button 2 is to camera 2. However, you can have the option of changing them as much as you like. So holding the shift button actually gives you another option, another 10 keys on the micro panel for you to customize. So once you're done mapping all the buttons, you can actually save, and then all the settings are being saved on the micro panel. So now we have gone through pretty much all the buttons on the micro panel. I brought it to one of my live stream jobs to see how it performs in real life and if this is going to be a staple equipment in my future live streams. Alright, so here now we are on site, and today I have with me the A10 micro panel. As you can see, it's lit up, which means that it's already connected via Bluetooth to my main laptop, and then the A10 Mini Extreme ISO is connected via USB-C cable to the main laptop as well. So I'm using this as a switcher for today's Teams meeting. Okay, so today I'm just going to go through what the A10 micro panel does. This part is actually an extension of what you see on the A10 software control, and these are all the more commonly used buttons that you will use. Okay, so right now I just give you an example. For example, you see on your preview and on your program mode, right? So what you usually do when you switch is that you tap on the red for the program, and then the green is for the preview, and then you do the auto and they will swap. So for the micro panel, this actually, the top row is the program and the bottom row is the preview. So whatever you press here, it actually changes there automatically. See? So you don't have to do the auto, but you can do the auto, and they have the buttons here as well. The auto is here and the cut is here. So when you do that, they do the switch as well, right? So okay, then the buttons here, the 4 buttons here are actually the upstream keys, and the 2 buttons here are the downstream keys. So I'm not sure if you can see, but I actually have a downstream key logo here. I'm not sure if you can zoom in. Yeah, so when I press this, it actually overlays this one. Yep, so it goes away. I try again and it comes up, right? Okay, so this is the downstream key. So another very useful function is the macro. So on the A10 Mini Extreme ISO, you only have up to 6 buttons for macro here. Whereas for the A10 micro panel, when you press the macro, it actually lights up. So you have all 10 buttons for the macro function. So you can see I've already set macro 5 to be a super source. So on screen, if I put the macro, and there's the super source, so I can just activate by clicking here, and then these are the ones that you actually set thereafter. So that's pretty much the live stream is going to start soon, so we'll go back to the studio and I'll tell you more in detail what to do with the rest of the buttons for the A10 micro panel. So yeah. So after testing the micro panel for quite a bit in the studio and then bringing it on site for my live stream, I was pretty impressed with the overall build, the responsiveness and the quality of build of the A10 micro panel. The buttons respond well to my commands, and the great thing is that you can customize it according to how you usually operate your live streams. So different people have different way of operating their live streams, and the micro panel, you can customize it. Some of the comments I read on A10 forums say it's more like it's like a stream deck, but I feel it's more than just a stream deck. It is absolutely wonderful to have and bring it on site for your live streams. However, now with all that said, we should head over to our local computer store and make our purchase immediately, right? But hold your horses, because there's one thing up till now I haven't mentioned yet, which is the price. The only drawback, and a pretty big one in my opinion, is the price. So the micro panel costs $675 US, which is even more expensive than the A10 Mini Pro ISO, which is only at $495 US. I'm not sure who at Blackmagic Design decided the price for the micro panel, but they really need to relook at the pricing. As much as it is a premium product and I love the micro panel, it is ultimately, in my opinion, an extension of the software control panel on the computer, which is literally free. If you ask me what price I would pay for this, I would probably say not more than $300 US. Again, this is just my personal opinion. However, if budget is not a problem for you, I would say it's definitely an upgrade to your live stream setup. So with that said, I hope today's video has given you an in-depth view and operation of the ATEM micro panel, and it pushed you towards the direction of getting or not getting it. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments below. I will try my best to answer them in my possible knowledge of the ATEM micro panel. Other than the price, I should be able to answer most of your questions. If you enjoyed this video today, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more future videos like this. Anyway, before I go, just a quick shout out. I've created new social media contents dedicated to this channel on TikTok, Instagram, and X or Twitter. So do go ahead to post, to follow, as I will be posting short form content on them pretty soon. And thanks for the support so far. Until the next video, my name is Steph. Take care and bye bye.